Tonight on Connecticut's news station, police investigate a serious crash on the Berlin Turnpike involving a car and a pedestrian that forced a part of that busy highway to shut down tonight.
After a much colder day today, temperatures will reverse yet again. We'll talk about the changes ahead.
And the plea is guilty to the murder of a Yale University student. A New Haven man who fled to Alabama to escape justice tonight faces decades behind bars for a deadly shooting.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And thanks for joining us here on the News at 10. I'm Brent Hartman.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. We want to start on the forecast. It got cold today, but unseasonable warmth is set to return.
As we get closer to the weekend, expect the temperatures to rise, but we could be facing some rain soon as well. Here's Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. Rach?
Yeah, we're already right back into the 50s as we head into this upcoming weekend. But yes, we have some rain and some clouds, which is why I'm giving you some homework tonight to enjoy the sunshine tomorrow while it lasts, because it'll be the brightest day of the next several. Taking a look at the weather whiplash that we ended up experiencing, temperatures dropped about 30 degrees between yesterday and this morning. And you could notice it, especially with the wind, which is finally starting to diminish. In fact, we're only seeing one wind gust show up right now, Chester at 13 miles per hour. Temperatures are in the 20s, near 30 degrees in Meriden, and mid 30s currently for the New Haven area. And temperatures tonight will be settling back into the 20s. It could feel like the teens with just a little bit of a breeze, so a heads up there. Chilly start to the day tomorrow with temperatures beginning in the 20s. I think we'll see plenty of sunshine through the day tomorrow. By lunchtime, we're near 40, and we'll see high temperatures in the lower to middle 40s, so already warmer than today. But wait until you see the numbers heading into the weekend. Of course, we do have some rain to talk about along with that warm up. We'll talk more about it and help you navigate the wet weather through the weekend. Full forecast coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. New tonight, all lanes of the Berlin Turnpike in Newington are finally reopened after 4 hours after a serious crash involving a pedestrian. It happened at 6:15 this evening near Wren Kitchen. A driver headed southbound hit a pedestrian on Route 15 between Kitts Lane and Main Street. That person suffered serious injuries and was rushed to a local hospital. The driver stayed on scene. And another crash we are just now learning about, this time in Cromwell on Route 372. The fire department has confirmed that officers are on scene of a car versus pedestrian crash there right in front of the Lowe's. There's no word on injuries right now, and the road is currently closed. We have a crew on the scene, and we'll bring you more information when we have it.
The man charged with killing a Yale University student pleaded guilty to murder. Chin Sung Pan faces a sentence of 35 years behind bars. He'll be sentenced in April. The New Haven man was in Alabama when police finally found him after months of searching. New Haven police say on the night of February 6, 2021, Pan shot Kevin Jung several times, ultimately killing him. Jung was a member of the National Guard, a youth mentor, and a homeless advocate. He was the 5th Yale student murdered since 1974. He would have turned 27 this month.
A New Haven man has been sentenced in a shooting. Jordan Rudell will serve 35 years in prison for the murder of Rondell Atkinson in Woodbridge back in 2021. Rudell pleaded guilty to the murder charges. A lengthy investigation found that he and another man, Ricky Trainum, went with Atkinson to the park before taking his belongings, shooting him, and then driving away. Trainum was sentenced to 80 years in prison last year.
Today marked day 31 of the Michelle Troconis trial, and jurors spent it deliberating for the second full day.
They are combing through hundreds of individual pieces of evidence, and at least once today asked for more clarification on the charges Michelle Troconis actually faces. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc has the latest.
Around noon today, just about the same time as yesterday, jurors presented the court marshals with a note calling for clarification on some of the charges Michelle Troconis is facing. Now, as a reminder, Troconis is charged with 6 counts, including conspiracy to commit murder, tampering with physical evidence, and hindering prosecution. Jurors asked for clarification on the tampering charge, all in connection to the trip to Albany Ave in Hartford on May 24, 2019, the day Jennifer Farber Barbara Doulos went missing. Now, this is when prosecutors say her estranged husband, Fotis Doulos, was dumping evidence in city garbage bins with his then-girlfriend, Troconis, in the passenger seat. The jury also asking about the accessorial liability clause and whether Troconis needed to physically touch a piece of evidence in order to be found guilty of tampering with it. In short, the judge says no.
The answer is accessorial liability does not require physical contact.
Following another day of deliberations, we heard from defense attorney John Schoenhorn surrounded by Troconis and her family.
You just got to imagine that it's a very stressful time. You know, you're waiting, your family member's fate, rests on what people in a room that you cannot see or hear are thinking. So, you can imagine that it's very stressful to everybody.
Now, when it comes to jurors reaching a verdict, Schoenhorn says he's not going to speculate on timing, especially because there is nothing usual about this case, he says, with the sheer amount of evidence jurors have to go through. Now, deliberations pick back up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We are in Stamford. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
As we continue to await the jury's decision, legal experts are weighing in. Ray Hassett, founding partner of Hassett and George Law Firm, joined Connecticut's news station earlier today. He thinks the longer the jury takes to come up with a verdict, the better for Michelle Troconis.
So the theory is that the defense benefits from the longer period of deliberation, because if a jury had a quick decision that there was guilt, they would come back immediately and say guilty. If time elapses, then the defense has always taken the position of, and I think statistically this is accurate, that it benefits the defense that they haven't been able to reach a decision unanimously. But again, every jury is different, every trial is different. It's not an automatic, but that's at least believed to be the perception.
Connecticut's news station has been following the Michelle Troconis trial from the very beginning. For all the details, including evidence and testimony, download our free Fox 61 News app. The investigation continues tonight into a deadly crash on I-84 East. State police telling us 2 tractor trailers went off the road and into a pond early this morning in Ashford. Both cabs and part of the trailers were underwater. Police had not confirmed how many people died or any other information about injuries. The crash shut down the interstate at exit 72 for several hours, creating a backup for miles. The ramp is still closed as officials investigate, and there's no word yet on what caused that crash.
At least a dozen condo units are damaged tonight. A complex in Middletown went up in flames this morning. Neighbors captured this video showing what fire crews first saw on scene. These are the Peppermill Village condos on Burgundy Hill Lane. Luckily, no one was hurt, but 6 units are destroyed, and another 6 units have serious damage. Fire officials are crediting the working fire alarm system for saving lives.
The volume of fire obviously was an issue, a little bit with wind. But as you can see, we have plenty of fire hydrants, there was plenty of water and plenty of personnel. Obviously, when we have this much fire in an occupied building in the middle of the night, we're very, very concerned. We're very lucky.
It's unclear how many people are without a home, but the Red Cross is helping out. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
A Shelton teacher faces charges tonight for allegedly throwing books at her elementary school students. Laura Heckman, a music teacher at Mohegan Elementary School, is charged with risk of injury to a child and disorderly conduct. Her arrest warrant spells out multiple complaints from students and parents dating back to last year. The warrant also details complaints where she would swear at students and physically drag them. Heckman was on leave for some time when the school contacted DCF for a separate report, but DCF did not accept the report, and she continued working as a teacher. She was arrested last month.
A former Waterbury City employee has been arrested for a second time in just a few months now. Police accuse her of stealing funds. Phyllis Labarge in Middletown was previously arrested, accused of stealing credit information from 2 of her co-workers. She resigned from her job in the corporation counsel office last month, shortly before charges were brought in that case. Now police say she stole nearly $16,000 between 2019 and 2023 in cash and money order payments made to the city. She's out on bond and will appear in court next month.
Connecticut State Police and the Department of Emergency Services are cracking down on reckless driving. State police are expanding traffic enforcement to reduce highway deaths and reckless driving, so expect to see more officers patrolling the roads. They're using data and new technology to identify areas with a high rate of crashes, places like the I-91 corridor from New Haven to Hartford. You will also notice more wrong-way signs with flashing lights on ramps that alert police before accidents happen. The announcement comes on the heels of a deadly wrong-way crash in West Haven that killed 4 people on Sunday.
It's a public health crisis, what we're seeing on our roadways. I believe the most recent data I've seen as of this morning, 50 fatalities in 2024 on Connecticut's roadways. That's not a good trend that we want to be on, to continue to see increasing deaths on our roads.
The State Department of Transportation says 302 people died along Connecticut highways in 2021 and 322 last year. Well, Senate Republicans have responded to the press conference, writing the problem is not the number of troopers, but that they are not being allowed to do their jobs. And they say, quote, we must empower officers to do their jobs. We also must address the increased amount of vehicles that are fleeing the police who are trying to pull them over, end quote. We have much more coming up here on the News at 10. Washington again playing the game of kick the can down the road, temporarily averting a partial government shutdown tomorrow, but for how long? Our report from Capitol Hill next.
Then to Gaza, where dozens of starving Palestinians were killed in a stampede and others by gunfire. The question tonight, though, what role did Israeli soldiers play in this atrocity?
And later, Oprah is out, stepping down from an important role she's held for a decade. And it's all because she's being honest with her fans about her weight loss battle and how she has decided to manage it.